So many women are talking about being child-free. This video is going to be all about why people are in this maybe baby stage and what is happening. Hey, it seems like people are starting to see things differently these days when it comes to motherhood and our options as women. Nowadays, women have more choices, and some of them are to postpone or to not have children at all. Let's talk about why. There is no way that we could begin this conversation without talking about the rise of feminism and gender equality. That's a big reason why we are sitting in this place right now. Feminism and gender equality in North America, of course, goes back to the 19th century when women began advocating for our rights, and that started with the right to vote. But it didn't focus very much until the 1960s and 70s on reproductive rights. And that's kind of the start of what we call modern feminism, I guess. I can't leave out Black women and how Black women have played such a significant role in this movement, both historically and in modern times. We have highlighted the intersectionality of oppression, and we recognize that for us women of color, our experiences are even more challenging because we have these combined ways that we face not just discrimination, but also that way of showing up, and especially around our fertility, because our healthcare access is normally very limited. Black feminist icons, we got to shout them out. The Audre Lordes and the Bell Hookses of the world have written extensively on this important space, on how we have to recognize and address the ways that race, class, and gender intersect to create these systems of oppression. Today, the fight for gender equality and women's rights continues with the right for us to control our reproductive health and our healthcare access. It affects our abilities and desires to want to have children. Major point is personal choice and just autonomy. Many women are just choosing to delay and not have kids, period, because we just don't want to. Before, 20 years ago even, it was a major thing. Your major goal, no matter what you did, whether you had a big job or not, you still weren't considered complete until you had had a child and got married. That has shifted. There's not so much pressure, or the pressure is not the same anyway, to have kids. Financial concerns is a big reason why some women are also choosing not to have children. These days, raising kids is expensive, and some women worry about this. How can you not worry about this? The cost of raising a child varies greatly, and it depends on a lot of different factors. So this is just an estimation, but it's on average in the United States, the average cost of raising a child from birth to age 18 is estimated to cost about $233,610. And that's according to the U.S. Department of Agriculture. This includes expenses such as food, housing, healthcare, education, all of the things. And I've had 4. So I guarantee you that seems like a pretty right number. And that was years ago. My children are grown now. Climate change in particular is posing a significant threat to the environment and to the health and well-being of people around the world. And so rising temperatures, extreme weather events, and the sea level risings are just some of the few consequences that we are beginning to see. And I know for myself, I think I would take a second breath. If I knew imminently what the next generations are going to be facing, I don't know if I would take that step so readily to have a child, because it's what kind of world are they going to have? I know that I'm worried about my grandchildren and what they're going to inherit. They are aware that things are changing, and I just couldn't even imagine, and I know that I carry this, that they're going to have to make choices that I never had to make moving forward and what that impact is going to be. So I understand, and I think that it is a real factor for why so many people are choosing to think about motherhood and forego it or delay it at the very least before making a decision about things, because who knows? How do you choose when the world is such a crazy place right now? Studies have been shown that women with higher levels of education tend to delay having children. According to a report by the National Center for Health Statistics, women with a bachelor's degree or higher are likely to wait until their 30s or later to have children. In 2018, the average age of first-time mothers with a bachelor's degree or more was 30.3 years old, compared to 26.4 years old with women with a high school diploma or less. Another study by the Pew Research Center found that among women's ages 40 to 44 with a bachelor's degree or higher, 28% had never had children, compared to 18% of women in the same age group with less education. Now, these statistics suggest that higher levels of education are associated with a greater likelihood of delaying or forgoing motherhood. In addition, women with higher levels of education tend to have a better understanding of reproductive health and planning, and that helps them make informed decisions about when and how they're going to choose to have children. This knowledge can help them avoid unintended pregnancies as they plan for their future, and it gives them a greater control over their lives, and that means happier kids overall. It really helps when you can be flexible when you're having children. You got some savings, you got some backup, maybe you've got a support system that's together because you've planned for one. Trust me, I get that one. The fact that 45% of women are expected to be single and childless by 2030 is not a bad or necessarily a negative thing. Rather, it just reflects that there is changing attitudes and priorities for women in today's world. I got to talk about the big P. Yes, the big P is patriarchy. Patriarchy definitely has affected women's choices to have children, and it's done it in a couple of ways. For example, in Japan, there is a cultural expectation that women should prioritize marriage and motherhood over their careers. And according to a survey by the Japanese Ministry of Health, Labor, and Welfare, nearly 70% of women who leave the workplace do so to get married and start a family. Additionally, the survey by the Japan Family Planning Association found that 49% of married women in their 20s felt that they were expected to quit their jobs after having children. And this cultural pressure has contributed to Japan's declining birth rate. In 2018, Japan's total fertility rate was 1.2%, well below the replacement rate of 2.1%. Japan's female labor force participation rate in 2019 was 52.4% compared to 71.3% for men. Japan is suffering right now from not being able to populate itself. When the barriers to accessing education or careers are removed, when you have access to these things, it drastically changes the way that women choose to show up. When they have options, they will normally delay and pursue their own goals before starting a family. The patriarchal system normally limits this. When those attitudes can be switched up and we can create different expectations, especially around viewing women as just solely caregivers, it really changes the way a society stands. Women have less children, normally 2 or less. We are going to have to examine the way that the system actually works. This capitalist system that wants us to be taxpayers, but isn't accommodating the ways that we really need to show up. We're going to have to examine how that looks. Just saying. Is fertility the weapon to bring down the system? Think on it. Just saying. Think on it. There are some naysayers around whether this is a good or bad thing. And I don't know. I don't know if it isn't or if it is. But I thought, what could we do about it? And here's some of the things that I came up with. Number one is encourage better workplace flexibility and support for working mothers, such as paid parental leave, flexible work hours, and telecommuting options. Provide affordable and accessible childcare for parents, not just the moms, but working parents. Subsidies, tax credits, all of them things are beautiful things when we've made society a lot more full and wholesome. Increase access to reproductive health care and family planning services, including contraceptive options and fertility treatments, if you really want to encourage people to have families. Promote gender equality and challenge gender stereotypes that limit women's opportunities and choices, such as the belief that women should prioritize motherhood over other goals and aspirations. Advocate for policies and programs that support women's economic security and financial stability, such as equal pay, affordable housing, and access to education and training. How about increasing awareness and understanding for the challenges faced by single moms, single parents, and other marginalized groups? Advocate for policies and programs that address these needs. Why don't we encourage men to take an active role in parenting and in family life, including sharing caregiving responsibilities and promoting gender equity in the home and in the workplace? It would go a long way if we could share some of these duties. Woo! I have said a lot. And this topic around women choosing to delay or forgo motherhood, it highlights that this world is changing. Is it going to mean moving forward? And if you like this talk, if you thought that this was a cool video, comment below. Let me know, what are your thoughts about, this maybe baby question. Are we having a baby? Because it can have different connotations. Also, take a look at my other video about men's being lonely. Our men are feeling this as well. And what are the factors that are affecting us being able to relate together? Yes, this is all a part of the way we see sex. Till next time. Bye now.